Tesla stock is down 2.8% today. Things are not all terrible out there. I will share with you what is going on with Tesla stock today, what is happening to markets today, all of your Tesla stock breaking news, and we'll talk about the markets as well. There was a little bit of news today, but nothing that really justifies the sell-off that we are seeing. And I think that's what everyone is wondering. What the hell is causing markets to sell off the way that they are selling off? And here in this video, I will provide a little bit of clarity on that to why markets are selling off, because a lot of people are confused. And honestly, I don't blame you. I think everyone's a little confused, but the best understanding that I have right now to what's happening to markets is simply 2024 was a great year. These are now the last 2 days of 2024. There's a lot of tax loss harvesting that has been happening, that is continuing to happen today. The RSP is down 1.32% today. Pretty good proxy for tax loss harvesting. This is the equal weight S&P. And you did have some data that came out today. We'll get to that in just a moment. But 10-year Treasury yields recently have been rising. And that has been concerning for some investors. And some people think that 10-year Treasury yields are going to just continue to rise in 2025. Good news is 10-year Treasury yields today are down about 7 basis points today. So that's quite a fall, down to about 4.55%, erasing the rise that we seen on Friday that also caused markets to fall a lot. But you really got to pick your poison here, because is it good or bad when 10-year Treasury yields are falling because of weak economic data? That's what happened today. Chicago PMIs came in at 36.9. The forecast was 43. So that was much lower than expected. And the weakest number we have seen in a long time. I mean, since at least May of 2024. And before that, it had been years since we were this low. I don't think it's fair to say markets are really selling off because of this. I mean, it's not the biggest data point. It's not the end of the world. It's literally the Chicago area activity. And markets have been selling off now over the past couple of days. I think it's more tactical, year-end selling, year-end rebalancing of portfolios, or at least the start of that rebalancing. I think you're seeing the selling now, and you're probably going to see that rebalancing, the actual buying aspect of rebalancing, as we start 2025. So I think the sell-off does make the odds higher of a stronger January. Now, at the same time, I think some investors are a little concerned because 2024 was a great year, and we're heading into Trump's inauguration on January 20th. And some people are saying, hey, we could see some tariff volatility. We could see some policies in general that are maybe not as great for, the economy, like Doge, right? Elon Ramaswamy's program that they are leading. And maybe that's an area of concern after things have just been so great over the past almost 2 years now. Personally, I think this is a buying opportunity. This is a buying opportunity in Tesla stock. This is a buying opportunity in the broader markets. If you look at the RSP is down again another 1.2% today. At the low of the day today, you were down almost 8% from the previous all-time high. You have seen a correction in our market. Now, specifically, when you look at the percent of stocks trading above their 50-day moving average at 28%, you don't get to these levels too often during bull markets. Okay. I mean, we were there August 5th. Technically, we're lower now on August 5th when the S&P was down 10%. You were only at a low of 31%. So 3% more of stocks are below their 50-day moving average, meaning that 72% of stocks as of today are in an active downtrend. When you get to that kind of fear, normally you want to be buying that. Normally this is not the time to run away. Normally this is the time to be buying. And I think this will bode well for Tesla over the next couple of weeks. Now, first and foremost, for Tesla stock, as I explained in the last video, nothing matters in the grand scope of things if we stay above this 414, 415 level. As long as we can remain above our 20-day moving average, in which that has moved up today to $416.69. But in all reality, as long as we stay above 415, we are still in a pattern of hitting higher lows. Okay, that means ever since this bottom here at $138, we have hit higher lows every single time. Let me just walk you through this. We hit that low at 138, we bounced up, traded sideways. This was a higher low period, right? You did not break below 138. You went up, you came back down to roughly, 195 or so. This was a higher low than what you've seen here. You went up, came down, higher low. You went up, came down, higher low. Went up, came down, higher low. Went up, went up, went up, went up, went up to where we are, today. Came down, you hit a low. You went up again, you came down. Question is, do we continue the pattern of higher lows? As long as we don't break down further from here, then short term, it looks good. Now, this doesn't tell you too much long term. Like even if we break under 415, it's not going to be the decisive factor whether or not the next 12 months are good or bad. But in the short term, it will be important from a kind of tactical perspective whether or not we do break a new low. I think the biggest thing that's kind of going to decide whether Tesla does well or not over the coming weeks is probably Tesla's delivery numbers coming out Thursday. Again, my expectation is 535,000 deliveries. On the bull case, you're looking at 575,000 deliveries. On the worst case, you're looking at about 485,000 deliveries. Okay, anything between 535, my base case, and 575, Tesla stock's gonna do very well. Around consensus, it's a toss-up. I mean, is it good enough? Is it not good enough? The stock has fallen from 488 down to 419. So if we meet expectations, that may actually be good enough to hold the stock up or even send the stock higher. Wall Street, generally speaking, is expecting 506,763 vehicle deliveries from Tesla in Q4. UBS predicts today that Tesla will deliver 510,000 vehicles in Q4. They say, quote, given the artificial intelligence-driven narrative on the stock, we do not believe the delivery results will be as meaningful as in the past. Based on investor conversations, it believes the buy-side expectation range is between 500 and 510,000. So it's not the biggest driver of Tesla, obviously, at this point. But if deliveries do come in good, I think that will be a positive for Tesla stock. And vice versa, if deliveries come in bad, that will be a negative for Tesla stock, at least short term. Personally, I did go out and I bought another 10 shares in Tesla at 416.72 today, I believe was the change on that, around 416, because I think this is a good opportunity if you wanted more exposure in Tesla. Keep in mind, I think Tesla could rally into the 900s next year, as long as we don't have a recession, as long as the Fed does not need to raise rates, as long as robotaxi rolls out a little bit faster than Wall Street is expecting. That would be kind of a positive surprise for next year. And obviously profitability comes in well, all of, we don't have some kind of tariff disaster, right? As long as everything goes well, you could be looking at a double from here next year. maybe even higher than that if things went really well for Tesla. And again, it's not too often that you get these buying opportunities within a bull market when you get 72% of stocks in an active decline. I mean, maybe this is the end of the bull market. I don't think we have seen a catalyst to that magnitude yet. And let's face it, I mean, Wall Street has gotten so used to now the Fed's not going to be cutting rates. They're not going to be, accommodating markets. But if the economic data, like today, Chicago's PMIs, start to come in negatively, you have quite a bit of negative data that we can take in just to get back to kind of where we were a couple of months ago, right? Doesn't necessarily mean we have to go from everything's great to recession, right? We could just go back to, okay, things are not as strong as we thought. Fed's going to be cutting rates 4, 5, 6 times next year, whatever the magical number turns out to be, before you go straight to recession fears, okay? So I think we have a bit of a cushion here, between where we just were after the Fed. They may not raise rates at all next year, down to, okay, they're going to be cutting rates a couple times, to eventually, oh crap, recession, right? I think we're a long ways from oh crap, recession. So I think that does kind of cushion things a bit because, I mean, the worst thing that could happen for the bull market is we start to get some recessionary data and we jump to oh crap, recession, right? Tesla's going to fall a lot in that scenario. Everything's going to fall a lot in that scenario. So as long as we're not in oh crap, recession, I don't think anything else really matters that much. As long as inflation is not skyrocketing and the Fed is not talking about raising rates. You have recession over here as the extreme. You have the Fed raising rates as the extreme. Unless one of those things happens, you're most likely going to stay in this bull market, is long story short. And as long as, again, we don't go into oh crap recession mode or oh crap the Fed needs to raise rates, I think Tesla's going to do very well next year. I actually think you could see a bit of a rebound again in January, especially as that tax loss harvesting comes to an end and overall activity picks up. Today is an unusually low volume day for the markets. At the time of recording this video, the SPY has only seen about 20 million for shares trading hands, which is very abnormal considering the kind of sell-off that we are seeing today. Okay, even Tom Lee said today, quote, "It is not a liquid environment because we're in the final 2 days of the year. Strangely, if the last week of December is weak, I actually think it bodes well for a rebound in the first week of January." Here, there was no apparent news catalyst for Monday's decline, and trading was expected to be light given the shortened week. The S&P, the SPY ETF, had less than 11 million shares in total volume at around 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, an abnormally low amount for a day with a significant market decline. I kind of agree with Tom Lee on this one. You don't want to draw too many conclusions based on the last 2 trading days of this year. And I mean, that's pretty obvious in the options market today with Tesla stock. You have seen 46 different trades totaling $32.16 million with a positive order value of 55%. That is very low for Tesla. Like, we've on average seen options activity like $400-500 million worth a day. This is abnormally low. So again, you don't want to draw too many conclusions based on what you are seeing today. Now, short interest of free float in Tesla is at 2.89%. You have $34.83 billion sold short, totaling almost 81 million shares that are sold short. Now, here on the day today, you have return shares of 493,000, borrowed shares of 915,000. That means you actually have about 422,000 shares today that are being sold short. Again, I think that will be seen as a mistake down the line as we get into 2025 and adds more fuel to the inevitable squeeze that we shall see. Tesla is a favorite amongst institutional investors who own 46%. And this is really a trend that has just started recently over the last couple of months. You've seen a lot more institutional and hedge funds adding positions in Tesla, which is something you did not see too much of the last couple of years. Tesla was really the underweight stock of big tech from, professional, quote unquote, professional money managers. Tesla is largely owned by retail investors. We do have a little bit of potentially disappointing news for Tesla today, although I don't think this is contributing to Tesla's decline. Tesla denies the Cybertruck will go on sale in China in January after rumors resurface. Tesla seems like has recently gotten some approval permits to launch the Cybertruck in China, but it does not look like that is going on sale in January. I don't think this is moving Tesla stock, although it kind of sounds negative, because I don't think anyone was really expecting the Cybertruck would go on sale in China in January. Tesla doesn't clarify when it will go on sale, so maybe it's February, March, who knows? But this is not the big driver of Tesla. I don't think this really matters to the Tesla story at all. Elon Musk was recently asked to build a Tesla gigafactory in Scotland by one of the representatives of the Scottish Parliament. He wrote Elon Musk a letter that was urging him to build a new gigafactory in Scotland. And Elon Musk says very few companies will be willing to invest in the UK with the current administration, which is a good way of putting it. Now, in Google Trends data for the Tesla lineup, you do see some really good trends overall. Okay, overall meaning the Model Y is at 39. Last week, it was at 37, so that's really good. The Model 3 at 29. Last week, it was at, 29, which is still pretty good that it's holding that level. Cybertruck recently fell from 56 down to 48. The Model S at 14 and the Model X at 12, which are all pretty good numbers. If we look at worldwide search trend activity, things are really trending sideways, I would say, at high levels for Tesla. The Model Y at 67, the Model 3 at 56, the Model S at 22, and the Model X at 17. Cybertruck also at 72, which these numbers are largely unchanged, but they did come from a place of like the low 50s back in September. So they've really been trending up for a while now. Even in November, they started really trending up for the Model Y and the Model 3. And we've kind of just held that level, which again is a good sign for Tesla's Q4 delivery number. Over on StockTwits, sentiment for Tesla is neutral at 46 today. Yesterday, it was neutral at 48. So not great, not terrible. Message volume is low today at 42. Yesterday, it was low at 38. So that's a little bit of an improvement. And the participation ratio today is high at 55. Tesla continues to run about 5,000 different ads with Google, and Tesla's global inventory numbers continue to be worked down. You did see a little bit of a spike, though, in the Model 3, the Model S, and the Model X. The Model Y sitting at now under 3,000 vehicles in total global inventories, just under 3,000 there. The Model 3 at 2,600, the Model S at 1,400, and the Model X at 1,600. That's a great sign heading into Tesla's earnings of, one, what could be higher profitability, and again, lower inventory, which is good news. So again, as I said in the last video, the last 2 days of 2024, Monday and Tuesday, that is, we're going to be a bit of a toss-up. What kind of won here? Did the tax loss harvesters win? Did you see overall kind of negative momentum these last 2 days, which has kind of been the trend now for multiple days? Or, then do you see the second half of this week, after we're closed Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the first 2 trading days of 2025, actually start off on a strong foot? That looks likely to me. You've seen a lot of carnage in this market. I don't think there's much room for things to get worse unless something actually gets worse, unless the economic data starts to crater, in which we don't really have any economic data, at least this week. Next week, we'll get a little bit more, but it's still kind of a light economic data period. We don't have big company earnings again that start until January 15th, and you start off with the banks. So we really just don't have that many catalysts here to, I think, continue to drive fear in our markets and drive stocks lower. I think Tesla is probably going to bounce around these levels, and I think it's a good time to be adding some more exposure with the over $60 discount, almost $70 discount that we just, seen from the highs that we hit on December 18th. So I did add some more exposure today. I bought some Tesla. I bought some other AI stocks as well. If you guys want to see everything that I bought today, check out that link down below in the description of this video. We will talk a little bit more in depth of possible scenarios and what could happen to Tesla over the next coming days and weeks. You do not want to miss that video. That video comes out at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. So ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think about this information down below in the comment section. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.